Hey guys, this video will focus on the single most important skill and habit for people who are committed to achieving and optimizing positive psychological health, physiological health, peak performance, that is exceptional performance or personal best performance in any important work, skill, or hobby. This is also imperative to a healthy connection as well as healthy, strong, robust communication with ourselves and with others. And it's imperative for those things, those other things that we so desire in life, like joy, happiness, and fulfillment. That's an awful lot to achieve with one skill and habit, isn't it? An awful lot of really good stuff. Joy, happiness, fulfillment, peak performance, success in work, hobbies, everything that's important to us. It's incredible. Well, I would argue that this skill or this habit is integral to us performing and living in our highest ranges of experience, results, and success in anything we hold important. In fact, if I could recommend only one skill, mindset, or habit to aspire to and master, it would be this one thing. So what am I speaking of? It's presence and its cousin, mindfulness. I imagine you probably know what I mean by mindfulness and presence, but for those of you who might not be familiar with these terms, let me explain them. Presence is being wholly present in the moment. It's that simple. Stilling or quieting the mind. Mindfulness is also stilling the mind and being present in the here and now. It also means to become deeply but simply aware of our mind, becoming so aware of our thinking itself that thinking is as if it's something totally separate from self, becoming, as they say, aware not just of our thoughts, but aware of the thinker thinking the thoughts, the thinker behind the thoughts, as if it were a third entity, not us. Awareness of self is totally separate from the thoughts, as opposed to doing what we naturally do, which is to identify self with our thoughts. So it's detaching from the thoughts, observing and maintaining awareness that our mind and thoughts and feelings are totally separate phenomenon from who we truly are, being an observer. People, and if I'm not mistaken, that would include you and me, naturally associate ourselves with and to our thoughts and feelings. But in mindfulness, we detach from being one with our thoughts, and we observe our mind, including disengagement from personalizing or having a personal or emotional stake in our thoughts. Presence also describes that state we experience when we're completely focused and engaged in the moment on an activity that has considerable meaning to us. It might be a hobby, a sport, work, hopefully sex. It's an activity that is particularly important and meaningful to us, where we're committed to perform at a high level. We're focused intently on the activity, highly purposeful and focused. That state where a half hour can pass and it seems like just minutes. Studies of peak performers, those people throughout the world who habitually live their lives and perform their work at exceptionally high levels of quality and exuberance, show that being fully present in the moment is one of the hallmarks of peak performers. And it kind of makes sense, right? In order to either live or to perform to our ultimate capacity, we would have to be 100% focused and engaged in the moment. Otherwise, our mental energy and probably our physical energy are dissipated or dispersed. Our focus and abilities aren't concentrated into the single activity at hand. Presence does not come naturally or easily for the human mind. Human mind is habitually busy. It also inherently concerns itself with self, and it wanders from thought to thought constantly. Experts estimate that we have tens of thousands of thoughts per day, every day. They also say that the vast majority of our thoughts repeat themselves each day. So virtually everything we think about today, we thought about yesterday, and we'll think about again tomorrow. The way to practice stilling the mind, the way to practice mindfulness and presence is meditation. Meditation is the practice of stilling the mind, the practice of presence and mindfulness. In meditation, we focus our attention on one sensory image, sensation, or sound. The visual, auditory, or kinesthetic sensory stimulus we focus on can either be actual in our current environment, or it can be imagined, just in our imagination. For example, we might stare at a spot on the wall or the floor or a stream if we're outside. Or we might close our eyes and just imagine staring at a spot on the wall, floor, or a stream outside. Or as is common, we might focus on the sound and the feeling, the sensation of our breath, our breathing. Or we might focus on music, music that is actually playing, or music that we're simply imagining. Our mind will naturally wander away from the single focus. As our mind wanders, we just gently bring it back, bring the focus back to the single awareness, the actual or imagined sensory stimulus. When we're present, we're centered, we're calm, and we're focused. As we practice and improve on this, our blood pressure and our heart rate decrease, and our mind will effectively cleanse and relax. Within this state, we can achieve our greatest potential in focus, performance, and health. If you have presence and you have nothing else, you at least have peace in the foundation for happiness, fulfillment, and health. Everything that happens right now, 1 minute ago, is forever relegated to the ash heap of history. 1 minute from now doesn't exist, and in fact, it may never exist. A lack of presence can only lead to undesirable things such as stress, poor performance, poor mental, emotional, and physical health, substandard relationships, dissatisfaction, and other bad things. Think of a time when you were completely absorbed in what you were doing, and probably for a prolonged period of time. Your complete mind, energy, intention, and attention were all consumed with this singular thing. You lost track of time and all other concern. You probably felt a relative absence of emotion, but looking back after the fact, the experience was very cathartic and meaningful. In fact, you may look back and remember the moment as euphoric. It could have been the enjoyment of a beautiful day, the sea, a mountain, even exploring a new city. It could have been work, a hobby, or a fascinating person or someone you love deeply. Or it could have been a peaceful moment alone, simply being, virtually free from thought, unaware of the past, the future, or anything other than the simply being in the moment. Each of these examples represents presence. Presence is to live completely focused, intent, being and acting in the now, without awareness, concern, or consideration for anything outside of this singular moment. You know, there are many people who are worldly successful because they're present when engaged in their work. That is, they focus clearly, wholly, and intently on their work. Yet they often lack presence with dealing with themselves and other people. Their mind, attention, and intention can never seem to completely focus on another human being, or on simply and wholly experiencing and being who they truly are, as opposed to who they wish they were or what they're pursuing in life. Presence is our simplest, healthiest, and most powerful and resourceful state of being and doing. When we're able to rest into the still core of the life force that we are, quiet our mind, center in the moment, we access our most energetic, creative, and aware capacity as a human being. In a state of presence, we're most aware of the internal and external variables in our environment. We're also most in control of ourselves and our mental and emotional facilities. Presence is the optimal state of awareness and personal power. Meditation and mindfulness presence have been extensively studied at top universities like Harvard and Stanford. In one study, John Kabat-Zinn, I think it was, at the University of Massachusetts Medical School, did a study with subjects from a biotech company. Kabat-Zinn randomly split a large group of employees into two. Group 1 participated in an 8-week mindfulness-based stress reduction course. Group 2 participated in no courses or training. All participants from both groups had their brain electrical activity studied both before and after the 8 weeks. At the end of the 8 weeks, the members from group number 1, the group that participated in the 8-week mindfulness course, had greater activation in their left prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain associated with positive emotions, well-being, and acceptance of experience. The left prefrontal cortex activated people typically describe themselves as being interested, excited, strong, alert, and enthusiastic. On the other hand, right prefrontal cortex activated people describe themselves as afraid, nervous, upset, or distressed. The subjects in the second group who did not participate in the mindfulness-based course saw no change in their general brain activity. Being present in the moment and accepting what is without resistance or judgment doesn't mean that we become passive victims of events, circumstances, or attempts by others to control us. We can be present, accepting and non-judgmental, yet aware and engaging of outside forces that act around or upon us. Presence and non-resistance do not equate with passivity. Rather, we simply accept what is and direct our attention and intention and behavior towards where we genuinely have power to affect our internal and our external environments, hopefully to everyone's highest benefit. Our ability to affect our life, our career, our family, anything and everything that occurs in this moment and in this moment only. We cannot act 5 minutes ago, we cannot act yesterday, nor can we act 5 minutes from now or tomorrow, at least not until those times come, if they do come for us. Now, this moment is the only time we can ever affect or live our lives. If you own this moment and act in your highest interest and potential, then, and only then, do you inhabit and own your greatest potential self in life. It's a personal choice. It's always within our control. This, my friends, is power. Our circumstances are what they are. We cannot control them all. We can't control most of them. We can control the meaning we find in them and what we choose to do with them and about them. Imagine a young child playing their favorite make-believe game in their mind. They're not an inexperienced little kid playing. They are whatever or whomever they're playing, an athlete, an astronaut, a princess. Now, imagine a world-class athlete, after much training, finally pushing themselves past their previous barrier of performance, sustaining this, probably for an extended period of time. Now imagine an entrepreneur or a business professional working into the wee hours of the night, passionately fixated on their project, losing all sense of time and space, while passionately creating their business or work. This child, this athlete, and this entrepreneur or business person are all in their zone. They're in flow. Zone or flow is that state where we perform to our highest ability. It's also the state which studies show produces the greatest fulfillment for people. We must be wholly present to reach our zone, the state of zone or flow. Zone is that a state that occurs concurrent with and because of the individual has singular focus and intention and action on an important activity in the moment, an activity that is challenging and flows from impassioned intention of the individual to perform and succeed at a high level. An activity that makes the actor a more complex, capable, and fulfilled organism. An activity for which the actor has skill, receives immediate feedback on their performance, and has the structure of rules which allows them to identify and experience an exhilarating level of accomplishment. We completely lose ourselves in the goal or activity, and time seems to stand still. I like to combine the two terms and speak of zone flow. Zone flow is when we create and experience these zone moments habitually and routinely. So they flow as a frequent life experience as opposed to having few zone moments that may happen serendipitously or infrequently. We must be completely present to be in our zone or to flow. But being present doesn't necessarily mean we're in our zone. Being present means to live completely and fully in the current moment. Being in zone is to live fully in the moment, but with the intention and the action to perform in a meaningful challenge, to stretch, to reach our highest potential at something important to us, possibly in a new range of performance or actualization. While we might purposefully focus with the intention of being mindful or present, we don't purposefully create the state of zone. Zone is a state that flows or happens as a result of total attention and intention, commitment to excel at an activity for which we have aptitude and there are defined rules, and it means a lot to us. I'll post a video with an actual mindfulness, presence, and meditation exercise here in the near future, in the coming weeks. I'll tell you the title in a moment so you can look out for it and practice the exercise. If you'd like to learn more about zone or flow, subscribe to my list at christopherbabson.com, and you'll receive other free training weekly, including the 20-minute presentation I'll put together on zone flow. Also subscribe to my YouTube channel so you don't miss any of the free training I provide. Some of it's only on my website, some of it's only through YouTube. And please like and share all of my videos. I'd appreciate that. If you subscribe, I'll see you next week. The name of the video exercise, by the way, that I'll post with the exercise for presence, mindfulness, will be called probably something like presence, mindfulness, and meditation, and exercise. So look out for it and practice it. Information is only useful if we use it, if we practice it and perfect it. I hope to see you next week. Be sure to opt in at my website and on YouTube. In the meantime, live, love, and succeed with passion, purpose, and positive personal power, friends.